No sound at all. How about this? Hi. Hey, how about now? Do you have sound now? I'll start over. I'm going to need another cup of coffee and restart this day. Let me know when you have sound. You should have sound shortly. Okay, great. All right. All right, I got my coffee and we have sound. All right, let's start over. Hey, Cad. All right, let's just start over completely. So in regards to Lulu, the earnings were just absolutely phenomenal. And I don't see any reason why the stock's not going to continue to go higher. I just don't see any reason at all why this is going to happen. So what I'm getting at here is, and what I was pointing out was when the speaker was off, and let's get back to it. So here's your range, okay? And this is what you did last night, which is just absolute insanity, right? I mean, it really is. It's just crazy. So what we're seeing, let's get rid of this now. So we've cleared this level last night, 415. And once we did that, that was it. It just went. So I was really surprised by how strong it was. But now you're in this position where you see that 415 levels right here, 421 3/4, 435.10. So they're your levels. That's what you're going to have to watch now. You're going to have to watch those levels, and you're going to have to see how they play out. So let's just go through the other one that I really want to do, and then we can go through GameStop as well very quickly. So this absolutely crushed, and it has an enormous short position. So this was the first 15 minutes of the day after earnings. You sold down, obviously, and you really rallied back up. And you've been sitting right around here, which is right around this level. If you really look at where you're at, right? Because you're really looking for areas. Like I look for exact levels, but you always want to look at these areas too. Like there was a lot of selling 2 days ago for whatever reason at this level. And if you kind of go back to it, right, and see what's going on. So what I'm getting at is sometimes looking at multiple days can kind of give you an understanding of where there's buying. Now, I mean, it's kind of interesting that the peak here, the peak here, and the peak here, right? We're just all in this range where you're sitting. So it's possible that this is now flipping to support. Okay, so it is good sometimes to go back on 15-minute charts and just look at like 5 or 6 days. So what I'm getting at here is that you have support in here. So this could go. This is heavily shorted and extremely thin, and had a blowout report on the bottom of a support. And also right here, like here, let's get rid of all this so you can see this. Okay, and let's pull this down for a moment so that I can really get in here. And just so you can understand, there is a line right here, right? And then if we clone this and we move this over, there's a line right here. Okay, so you can see how we came down, touched it last night, and then just rebounded right back. So I think this has massive potential. This is your trend, and if this gets going, this really gets moving. So let's just keep going. I just want to go over this GME, and then I want to go over SE, which is just going to be a disaster this morning. It looks like. So this is really breaking down. And it seems like, and this is kind of what I thought they were doing, it seems like all they're trying to do is just take the premium from everybody on the option side. So what that means for us is this probably is not going to be a huge mover. This is probably not going to have any more of these kinds of pops. I mean, you can kind of see they've been walking us down, but last night's dumpster fire of a quarter, when they came out with that conference call, that was just an absolute disaster. So if I don't hold the 50 here, I'm probably just going to keep trading down, and I'm probably going to come down to like the 140, 150 level, and then we'll have to see if we hold from there. But I think that you're pretty much done here. So you know, I'm on the short side of that, just to be very clear. So SE came out and said they're going to do a secondary. It's about, you know, you're selling down about 20 points on this news, right, from where you closed. If you look at where you were last night, You closed at 343. And this morning you're opening up at 324. You're down 20 points. So that is an enormous gap. Now there's a chance that we slice through this 21 day and then bounce. So you may have a trade here. There may be a long side under gap trade. So just keep that in mind. That's what I wanted to go over, more than anything. So is the screen blurry for everybody? Let me know, please. Shouldn't be, but if it is, please let me know. It's coming through really clear on my end. So let me know if it's blurry, and then maybe I can see if I can do something about that. Let's just get into the names you guys want to get into. So UPST, let's get into it. Okay, so in regards to UPST, what we're seeing what I think is referred to as a blow off top. I actually closed the position for our community yesterday. I just felt like these moves were getting smaller, and I really didn't want to be that long going into today's jobless claims. So I was just somewhat concerned about that and the effect that was going to have on the market. So that was a concern of mine. But overall, I just think that you're getting toppy. And I have no way of knowing where that top is going to be or where it's going to stop. I really don't. But for me, the easy money was made when we broke this level and then rallied. Now, could you run up and take out a new high today? Absolutely. You absolutely could. But for me, we're just at that point where the risk versus reward and how weak we are, it's just not worth it. So are there day trades here? Sure. Every time it takes out a new high, look for a pattern on a 15-minute or a 5-minute, 1 minute, whatever you trade, and trade it. It can go to 300, but I'm just not interested in holding a long-term position there. Screen is good, clear for you. Great. Okay. Change my settings to what? So let's just keep going. Shop. All right. Yeah, I mean, usually I use StreamYard to do this, and they usually do a great job. So if you're having an issue, just let me know. It could be the monitor I'm on. I'm on a different monitor today. I have several monitors, and I just threw this over into another one. So that could be an issue. So if you do see an issue, please let me know. In regards to shop, look, here's your top range. Okay. You're having trouble with it. We've had a Melly trade on, and I actually was just moved the stop up on it because this is setting up to not really do anything. It's setting up to kind of roll. You really need to watch this level because you're below it right now. Right? And you sliced through it yesterday. See, yesterday's action should have just got everybody a little bit of pause because even look at this, right? As much as people love this. So I'm going to blow this up so we can really get in there and get rid of these indicators. You can see how we sliced the 50-day, but you had a reversal bar up here on that rising wedge, right? And then the next day you cut. Well, that's all tech. And if you look at that, right, you're going to see that move kind of play out in a different way throughout all these names. So I would be really cautious here. I'm definitely on the cautious side. Now, you do have a support level on shop right here, right? So you seem to be holding that. But I would be really cautious, and you need to get above this 1,500 level as soon as possible. You really do. Hey, Marty. So, and if I miss your name, please just throw it back in and let me know. But, and Angelo, let me know if you have an issue still. It's really important to me that people can see, what they're doing here. D, T, S, T, and W key. So we want to look at a little bit. Is this a new, is this one, is this a NFT too now? So look, I mean, you can see where your range is, right? I mean, I can, the easiest way when you see something basing like this is to see where you're going to have a problem. Let me just show you. It's the simplest way in the world to do it. You just hit volume by price, okay? and I can move this back and forth and extend the range. My advice to you is to not do that until you're comfortable and understand how to do it and understand why you would do it. But just let this factory settings work. But what this will do is this shows you point of control, right? Point of control is where the majority of stock has traded. Okay. And it's telling you where that is, right? And I like doing this with bases because it lets me know that I'm not up here, right? This lets me know that I'm down here. That's the purple line. The white line is VWAP. That's the adding of all these, then dividing and coming up with the average price over this period of time. And that tells me I'm going to run right into it, and I'm going to run into the 200-day. So for me, I wouldn't be a buyer of this until I got over this level, until I got over the 200. I'm not interested in that point. I'm interested in getting something like this, right? That's what you're interested in, right? I mean, you want to make money. You don't want to make a dollar. So I need this to, and let me explain this and blow this up. So what I need to have happen here is I really need to have this. Let me just put that right there. I really need this to get over that VWAP. See how it rejected there, right? And then right here. So, and I can blow this up even more so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So, and you can see how you're rejecting there. So until you get over that line and you get over the 200-day, I would not have an interest. W key, let's just take a look here and shrink this down. Get rid of these indicators for a moment. I don't think I'm going to need indicators for this one. I think I remember this one fairly well. Yeah, I mean, look, you're definitely curling and you're definitely trying. My level on this that I've been watching is just this $9, $8.95. And we have to get above that. And until you get above that level, we're going to have an issue. So we're going to just have to watch how that plays out. But I wouldn't go near that until you can get over that. If we throw the bells and whistles in again, you can see that you're above your point of control, $9. You have a ton of supply in here. So this might take a little bit of time before you can get moving here. So just keep that in mind. So, all right, let's just keep going. Hey, Nicholas, Asan and ZI. Okay, so Asan is one that we've been in the newsletter. We're up about 20 points on. Look, this is simple. I moved the stop to 91.50. My advice today is if these trigger today, you need to get out of the way. Hey, we're overextended on everything, right? On the NASDAQ, everyone's over this trend line, right? So when you're over this trend line, you're exposed. And if you get below this trend line, you're going to the 21-day. And there's no reason. I mean, we can go to 371, and I'm going to get to your position in a moment, but I want to answer this on a more broader question so it helps everyone. If you break this level and you go back down here, you're going to revert, and you have the chance of reverting to the mean, okay? And the mean really is the 20-day moving average. I use 21. But that's a 3% move on this index. Okay, that's a 10%, 15%. So if you always extrapolate it out, right? So you could say if it's a 3% move there, it's a 10 to 15% move on certain like the semiconductor sector could come in 10%, right? Based upon that statement. That means that some of these stocks could come down 20, 30% on a 3% NASDAQ move, right? Because there's a beta associated with them, and you have to understand that. This has an extremely high beta. So for me, when you hit this stop today, I would just be using, would not be using closes as much. I would be using just get me out and go from there. So to me, the risk is just too great today with how extended we are. So I would not be chasing this. I would see how it responds when it gets to that 87 level and go from there. And just kind of keep that in mind. So, but I like the name. I love the name. The earnings were great. But I would just tell you, and this is a great example, Nicholas. I'm glad you brought this up. This is why you wait. Okay. This is why you wait, and you wait for confirmation. So, just watch that. Okay. And I would watch this, man. I would not be a buyer of this. The long red nasty bars are red flags for a reason. Okay, that's a red flag to me. And you can see how we acted here and here. So just be really careful out there. Yeah, Tracy, that's what I thought was going to happen. And I think that's going to add some, I think that's going to add some selling today because it shows the tapering. And now we have 4 people that are going to speak today. You have 4 Fed people. Look at the pre-market letter I sent you out to the community. It lists all the dates on there. You have 4 Fed speakers today. You have more data coming out at 10 o'clock. And I just think that people are in a position where they realize this is coming. So they're looking for a reason to sell, and this is going to give it to them. That's what I think is happening. Yeah, if you're long the W key, I get it. Just watch that $9. I mean, I think that trade can work, buddy. The DTST, just wait for you to flip that level. So let's just keep going. And if I miss it today, you're going to just throw it back in the next 5-10 minutes if I don't get to you, please. Lucas, how you doing this morning, my friend? Let's get to it. But Tracy, you're dead right with that jobless claim number. You have to watch this. You flipped all 3 levels, right? And what happens when you flip all 3 levels? It means you're going to revert to a mean. Where's that mean going to be at? That mean is probably going to be down to, could be down to here. So this is going to, when this falls, and it will fall, it's not going to be pretty. You need to hold your 8, and then if not, you're going to go here. And you can go there in a day on something like this. This is a really thin name. And you see, like, here's your other thing to watch with these names. The trajectory of your move should be in correlation to your volume line. Okay, the last 2 days, you've had more selling than buying in the past 3 days. That's not what you want to see. Be really careful there. You might even want to lock that in. So I did see DD or TTD. Pretty sure I did. So let's just go through this very quickly. Look, you're really breaking down here, and you got through this, and it really felt like it was going to go. It kept giving us opportunities. We were buying it back here, and what you're going to have to watch is you got to watch this wedge line. Okay, so let's get rid of all this for a moment. Actually, let's get rid of all this. Okay, and start over. Okay, so you have a wedge line right up here, Tracy, that you have to watch. Okay, see that line? Now, what we do with these lines is we clone them. Why do we clone them? Because we want to have the same trajectory. We don't really care where they fit, right? So we could just devil's advocate say we're going to just put it there. But that's where you're at. So this can easily tell you that you're getting down into the mid 60s easily. Now, if we throw the bells and whistles in, I'm below the 21. I'm below the 8. I'm below the 50. I'm below the 200. Okay, I don't buy stocks below the 200. I just don't do it, right? I'll do it for a trade, but other than that, I don't want to be involved. And there's a much larger trend here that has broken. And let me get rid of this, and I'll show you that larger trend. Okay, so bonk, 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 bonk. Tries to rally through that trend, right? You think you got it, but you have these wicks, and we know from that candlestick video that wicks are price rejection. Okay, comes back down here, and that's it. That's what you're dealing with. So avoid this. I've seen a gentleman type Starbucks about 10 times, so let me get to that. And I appreciate you duplicating the symbol so I don't have to scroll back. It saves me time. Just FYI, jobless claims were 310,000 versus 335. That is a pretty low number. That could increase selling throughout the day based upon that. Just FYI. So Starbucks, see where you're wedged in? See how you tried to rally up to this and you couldn't get through it? Now let's throw in the bells and whistles. So I like that you're above this and the 8 and the 21 are crossing, but you're basing. So to me, it doesn't really tell me a whole heck of a lot. I need to see something like this after, I'm starting to move. I would watch this, and I would not get involved with this until I'm above 119. So let's just go Yeah, I was looking at dominoes. That this is like the type of market where you buy dominoes. I'll tell you why. Because you want the market to get smacked, and then you just want to buy the stock. I'm not so sure it's going to happen. I've been watching it, and right now, Larry, look. So you're wedged right in here, right? And you're trying to flip that. Now you're going to flip it today? I don't know. You know, you could see where my level's set at. That's where my level's set at, 531.60. Maybe you flip this today. I don't know. You know, flight to pizza? I have no idea. But it seems to me like you're building this huge flag. You stop going down here. You broke the upper part of that line. So it could go. I like the trade a lot. I'm just apprehensive in this kind of market, but I could see it go. NVIDIA, and then SPOT and CHPT. NVIDIA. So you're breaking this trend line, right? If you break this trend line and you close below that trend line, there's no need to be in this stock. I mean, it's really that clear, right? I mean, that's where you're at. I mean, we're in cheaper, so I'm trying to give it room. But realistically, I think you're going to come. I'm probably going to move the stop today up to here, right? Well, that's really where we're at right now anyway. So, I mean, I'm just trying to stay in the trade. I'm sick of trying to buy it and sell it, buy it and sell it. So if I get stopped, I get stopped out. But overall, I think that this could, I think it could run. So we'll just have to watch it and go from there. But I would not be in a huge hurry here. You know, you really want to see if they hold and how they hold today. I'm not really sure how this market's going to play out this morning. You know, we could sell down and just rally, but I just don't see that. ATER, and then I'll do SPOT. So that was my level that I was watching. Okay, I got right up to here. Let's throw this out there so you can see it. Okay, this is pre and post. That's why that's there. So what you need to do is exactly what you've done. You've closed above your 50-day. I mean, all you're really looking for here on this move now, we can get rid of this. All you're really looking for is a higher high. And then you can play with it. To me, I'm not going to go near something like this until I get something like that, even if I'm paying up. The opportunity, if that happens, is pretty great to me. You know, your 200-day is 19, and you really don't have any resistance until then. And we can see how deep that resistance actually is by just clicking volume by price. And you see how it all goes away. So this is on my radar. I've been watching it. But see how that volume goes away? You have no supply over here. So, and this is where all your supply is. And now you're through all your supply. Get it? So this can go. I like this trade. This could definitely go. You could see a move to there. I want to see 1059. I mean, I'll just wait. And you know how I trade these. I trade them like they're options. So, and a SPOT, that was the one that I keep forgetting. And then CHPT. So SPOT ran right to this trend line and rejected and formed an evening star for those that have watched that candlestick video, right? So you went right to that. You went right to this trend line and you rejected. So why would I want to be in this, right? Why would I want to be in this? We did this for a trade in the community, and the trade worked. I was pretty clear. There's a trend line up here. You could hold it, see if it flips it. That's up to you. That's up to the individual. I think it has huge long-term potential, but we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how that plays out. But I do like the name CHPT. So these names were all moving on infrastructure, right? Charge points, all that stuff. Look, the infrastructure bill's dead. That's not going anywhere now. And they're going to have a ton of issues. So, that's just the way it is. That's just the way that Washington works. I don't really want to get into it, but that's not going, that bill's not going anywhere. So, you're going to have a ton of infighting there on that bill now. Here's your support level, 28.50, 21.50. Hold on. What is that level? 20 3/4. What is this here? Hold on one second. Let me just make sure I'm doing that right. Oh, there it is. I don't know why I saw that as an 8. So you're at 2055. If you break that, I would just get out of the way. I mean, you have to watch these levels. They're telling you something, right? So this is not something I'd be rushing into. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. I really don't know. I think the video gets through. I didn't do BBIG yet. So let's just keep going. Let's just Globe. So Globe you need to avoid. I mean, let me say it again. Globe you need to avoid until you have a secondary priced. There's no reason to go near this until they price that secondary. Once they price that secondary, if you want to be involved with it, then go for it. But until then, you do not want to be playing around with it. No institution is going to buy this until that secondary prices. And frankly, you don't want to own things that institutions can't buy or won't buy. So after it prices, if it prices it prices perfectly, right? And then you see a decent move there, then maybe you could revisit it, maybe. But you need to see where it prices, and then you need to see what the demand is before you even consider getting involved with it. Adobe? So 664, I mean, you're just rocking and rolling. There's not really much to say here. You know, to me, the time to buy this is when it's at the 21 day. This really respects its 21 day. It looks beautiful. The 8, not so much. You can see how many times we've cut through that 8 day. So I really wouldn't use that as my guide. I would use the 21 day. And if we get to the 21 day, it might be something that you want to look at. I mean, I don't see this going anywhere but up. You broke out of an enormous, and this is what I love. Like, these are the kinds of trades I love. I mean, you had a year base that you broke out of. And since then, you're up 20%. I mean, this is when you buy, right? Even if you fail the first time, come back down, then you rip. I mean, that just looks beautiful. So, but I would be looking at the 21 day on that. Hi, Brian. SPRT and Walmart. SPRT was on my short list today, this morning, as far as trading, as far as like a short-term trade. So I really have to see how it plays out. So these are my levels, and I have fib levels on it from when it peaked. And you're trying really hard to reverse here. Yesterday was the first higher high bar and through. So I'll say that again. Yesterday was the first higher high bar and through, right there. Okay, so that's your new support level, 2290, right? 2295. Flip this level, and I think you're going to go 2540. Get through that, and I think you're going to push. And I think you have an opportunity here to get up to it like another fib level. Like maybe you can get back up to 38. But I don't think this is done. I think it's setting up for another move. So just consider that. I like that name. Walmart. So Walmart, look, it's Walmart. I mean, there's not really much to say. You have to buy it when nobody wants it, right? When it's breaking out, it looks like it's going to run. Not so much. Okay. So here's where you're at. Okay. I mean, there's not much to say here. You broke the 21, the 8 crossed it to the downside. When are earnings? You know, you're just going to bounce around. You're not going to do a whole heck of a lot here. So I would sit, watch, and wait until you see more come out of there than you're going to see right now. So, I mean, I like it, but let's just keep going. I did cover Lulu in the very, very beginning after I turned the sound back on. Square. So Square, what you're seeing here is a complete rejection up here, right? Complete rejection, and now you're starting to roll and see this. Okay, they'll give you one stock that did this, and I'm not saying that it's going to be like this, but when you see these, you have to pay attention to it, okay? It's just like this. It's no different than this. Trying to rally through, breaks the 8, the 21, tries to hold the 50, does it. Now you're breaking the 200, okay? So it's no different than that. You're just in a different stage of the trade right now, and you're not sure how it's going to play out. To me, this could really come in. Okay. There's a trend line here, and I can draw this a lot better, but there's a trend line here. If you take these points and you broke it. Okay. So no matter how you draw that trend line, you broke it. And when you break a rising wedge trend line, just FYI, that becomes your target. Okay. So that's why there's a couple reasons why I'm so apprehensive here with some names. Hey, Victor, good morning. I don't know. I don't know the arm deal is good. The arm deal is going to get done. It's just a question of when, you know. All right, Clove. Let's look at Clove. So for those that are new, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you probably want to subscribe because I do a lot of educational videos and a top 10 list, and you're going to want to be notified of those. And also, you'll get the link to this in the morning if you're subscribed and you click notifications, all notifications. So what you're seeing here, right, is you're just seeing a little battle, and it is what it is. It tried to break out. This is what we call no follow through, right? And that's exactly what you have here. You have absolutely no follow through whatsoever. So you're going to just have to watch it. You know, maybe it goes again, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. These move predicated upon what that whole group is doing, like, right, that whole retail group. And then if they get involved with it, then what happens? Then you get the algos and the high frequency traders that'll come into it, right, to try to, play around with them a little bit. So you just kind of have to watch that. You just have to kind of watch that. But I don't really see a big move there. Amazon, we had our shot the other day on it. Amazon's doing everything it needs to do. It's acting great. I mean, it really is. Like, there's really very little to say here. Here, click this off. I mean, there's where you're going. You're going to 35.80. It's just a question of when. This did everything it needed to do. I mean, this is kind of like a cup, isn't it? And here's kind of like a handle right under that trend line. So we flipped. So, you're going to get to 35.80, and then you're going to kind of figure out what you want to be, right? So we're going to have to watch that and kind of figure out what we're going to do there. But that's exactly what's going on there. So I like this. I'm just, I don't know. I'm not really buying a $3,500 stock or buying an option in this kind of environment until I kind of see where we truly go. And 35.80 could be it, and then we could just roll again. So I'm not really in a huge hurry there. So I know people are looking at that, and I get it. Let's see here. CTLT. CTLT. Yeah, I mean, that's just beautiful. So I'm not familiar with this one. I really haven't played with it. I'd like to see volume. You have really very little volume, but that's just beautiful. I mean, when you have a position like this and you start seeing these moving averages start widening away from one another, you really want to pay attention. That's a huge long-term signal when they start looking that pretty, right? When they all point like that, you really just want to pay attention to it. Here, look. You can tell by looking at this. Like, there's a huge channel here. Even if I take that out as an anomaly, all right, let's just assume this is an anomaly. Like, it's just a one day opens up, comes down. So, I mean, you're looking at getting up to 160, 170, like no problem. So that could continue to go. That's a great idea, Angelo. That could really move. So BNTX, nice find. BNTX, I have a position. It's not really working. Today might be it for it. I really need to see how it holds. I thought I had a shot here following the Myrna trade. Apparently I don't. We entered it. It looked like we were going to break. We got above the 8. It looked like it was really going to go this time. And what happened? We ran right into the resistance level, and then we didn't go. So there's not really much to say here. If it hits your stop, get out of it. I did think we'd see more follow through. especially with what's going on in the market. Like, people always want to trade something. So I kind of figured that these might be the safer names, and they're just not working. So I would not be rushing into it now until I start taking out higher highs. And then that might get my interest back. But, right now I'm just going to let the trade play out. AUPH. AUPH. So AUPH, wow. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like how your volume's kind of upticking, like you're just starting to uptick. How are we doing this morning? Yeah, okay. So let's just go through this on the weekly and see if I'm missing anything. Let's go through this on a monthly, see if I'm missing anything. So I'm not really missing anything, right? Okay. So this is where we're at. So I don't see any reason why you're not getting back up to here. I really don't. I think you're going to go through that like butter. I can almost guarantee just by looking at this chart that there's hardly any volume up here. People just stepped away, right? So here, look. And then you can verify what I'm saying just by going and looking at volume by price. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing here, man. There's no reason for this to stop. There's no real value, here. Now, the opening price is going to be an issue because that's where everyone said, that's enough, get me out. So just watch that level. But other than that, I think you're golden here. I think this could really move. You have a nice little cup that you just came out of. So just watch that, right? Your downward flag, and then you broke, and then you went. But just watch those levels. I mean, if I got below this 16, I'd be concerned. Other than that, I like it. Hey, good morning, Stephen. I know you did it. Should I let it stop out or wait for opening bounce? Yeah, I mean, that's just about as ugly as you can get coming into the day, right? So it doesn't really get much uglier than that, does it? You come in, your stock's down 20 points. It sucks, but it happens to all of us. Anyone that says it doesn't happen to is just not being honest. The question becomes, what do you do now? And that's a really good question. So let's just look at it this way for a moment. Let me get rid of all the indicators. So here's how I would be looking at it. Okay. I would start here. All right. And I would start with my 15-minute chart. And I would see, how did we react when this news came out and what happened? And now I would see where we're starting to sit and say, are we really going to sit here? Now, to me, 20 points is a lot on this, for this to come in like this. Okay. So now if you understand that level and you understand where you're at the 21 day. I'm not so sure that if I want to be, I'm going to be honest, I'm not so sure if I want to be in this long term that I'm selling down 20 points. So everyone's going to have to make that decision for themselves. I might ride it out for the week and be like, you know what, I want to see where they price it and kind of go from there. And very rarely will I do that. When in doubt, just sell. Right, that's the very first thing. Just sell, quantify your risk, sell, move on. That's the most prudent thing to do. I'm having a hard time telling people just to sell right into the 21-day moving average, where every time that we're here on an uptrend, we're kind of holding after we pull back a little bit, aren't we? Right? But you have to realize that you could slice this, and this could get a lot uglier, and you could come into this, 300 level. So it's a decision you have to make, but I would give it some room and see if you have some kind of like 10-point bounce or something off the open. If you break the 21-day, that might just be it for me. Just because I don't want to be staring at it all day. I don't want to take away my energy. But it's a great question. And I think that you have to make a decision on how you want to trade it. I'm actually looking at it on the long side for a trade today, based upon this, because to me the move's too great. So I kind of have to see from that and go from there. But that's a great question. Good morning. Comments? Yeah, I did Amazon, my friend. Look, here's where you're at. Right? Just to go through it again, this 50, 35, 80 level, that's where you're going to get to. Okay, let me get rid of this volume by price so we can clean this up a little bit. But that's where you're going to get to, this 35.80, right? That's what's going to happen. So the question becomes, what are you going to do with that level? I don't know what we're going to do. I almost want to wait for it to get through it at this point, right? And make sure I don't have some kind of like false rally over my line and then I roll again. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen, right? I'm just being extra cautious because what I see going on in the market right now, you know, the crypto kind of telegraphed this whole move pretty cleanly, I thought, but not just this move, but the sell-off. So I'm apprehensive here because yesterday's charting, if you looked at charts yesterday, did you see how many false breakouts there were? There were so many. And NM, what do you have me looking at here? NMRK and PIRS. NMRK. All right, my friend, what do we got? View mark I like. There's not much to say here. Look at your little spike in volume, above average on the break. Got through all these little, look at these wicks. You got through all of them, right? I mean, that's exactly what you're exactly where you want to be. There's not really much more to add here. I mean, the best thing I could tell you to do is just get above that and you probably go. I don't know the name. I don't know what they do. What space are they in? But that's a clean breakout, you know, and you have a channel here. That can easily get you up to that 17, 18 level. So I like it. I like that trade, PIRS. So PIRS. So you're above your 8-day, right? You kept trying and then you kept selling down. Like this is the one thing. I don't know what they do. I don't know if we're waiting for some type of announcement, FDA announcement. That can change your entire landscape, just FYI. But you see these wicks? You see how they're stepping these wicks up? So these people aren't even selling anymore. So all you're looking for here, this is a really simple trade. If you flip that line, you're probably going to go again. Right? If you can get above there, you're probably going to go. So all you're really looking for today is a move above 528. It could change tomorrow and be tighter in here for a while. But for right now, 528, get above that. You could look at getting involved with this if that's something that you wanted to play with. Yeah, I mean, I can see waiting for that break. To me, I don't know why you wouldn't wait for 35.80 to get above. I mean, it's a $3,500 stock. So, yeah, I can do ASK. I can do it AMC. I like it. You know, I mean, look, we had a trade on it yesterday. Some people probably made some money with it selling into it. The thing is that you have guilt by association right now. Okay, even though they're completely different businesses and they're handling their business completely differently, you're in a position where whatever GMC or GME is doing, this is doing. Okay. And I'm not saying it makes sense, and I'm not saying it makes any sense whatsoever. But I like this. I like the range. I like how tight this is in here. I like how we keep knocking on this door over and over again, but not really breaking down. Like this was not a breakdown yesterday, right? But, you know, I had an options trade on, so we sold into the strength and then sold the rest, you know, break even. But I'm not going to play with an options trade just in case it slides down. You can just get wiped out, right? So you have to quantify your risk and just move on, look for another opportunity. But there might be another opportunity here. I don't know if it's today. For me today, it's either got to really sell down or it's going to have to flip this level for me to pay attention to it. And if it does flip this level, if you do flip that level today, I'll be all over it because I do think this has a shot to get back up to the 64.71 level. This is a completely different chart. I just want to point this out. I'm above the 8, the 21, the 50. Okay, people are going to want to go back to theaters. I'm not talking about the valuation. I'm just saying like that's a completely different chart than looking at this and going, I'm below the 50, the 21, and the 8's pointing down. And I'm below my downward trend line, right? That's a completely different chart. So out of the names, this is the one that can go, in my opinion. I think it can go. So DV, Art. So DVAX. So, oh, I don't know why this is up here, but if you need me for anything or there's questions that you don't want to throw out there and they're private, just email me there, arate@aratetrading.net. And again, I highly recommend that you subscribe to the channel if you don't, because I'm going to start doing a ton of educational videos now that I changed the video scheduling around. Look, 1817, you got to flip here. Get above that 8-day, and I think you're golden. But like, look at the 8-day and look what it's doing there, right, Art? Like here, let's get rid of all this. Let's get rid of all this nonsense for a minute. Let's get rid of all my annotations. Let's look what it's doing, Art. See how it was support here? See how it's resistance, resistance, resistance? Flip this 8 to support, and you could go. Now you have a bear flag here, right? You can see that, right? So essentially what you have is you have a rising trend line with a frozen rope pattern that where it comes down, and then you form a bear flag. So it's not really a ringing endorsement that, to be in there. But what you could do is, if you can flip this level, then you can challenge this. If you challenge this, then you could start going again, right? But that's the position that you're in. That could work. Hey, Boca. IIPR. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing about these names now, right? So you may see weakness today in them. If they think they're going to taper and they think they're going to raise rates, okay? If they think they're going to taper and they think they're going to raise rates, then yield will get hit. And let's take a look at something real quick here to stay along that line, Boca. So let's just look at this. And I would recommend anybody do this. So every morning you should be looking at the sectors, S&P sectors, and just getting a read. So tech, XLK is tech. That's the best. And we're seeing energy is the worst, right? Followed by real estate, right? Which was kind of weird that you see financials down too if they were going to raise rates. But I would be concerned about this coming in. If you're worried about locking in the profit that you have, just lock it in. I don't think that I'm going to break and close below the 21-day moving average. So I'm willing to take that risk. I mean, this is where we're in from the newsletter, right? So I'm willing to take that risk, and then kind of go from there, and we'll see what happens with it. But could you come down to here? Absolutely. This could slice. This whole market could slice, and you're going to just have to be aware of that. But you need to hold the 21-day. If you don't hold the 21-day, you have to get out. ATR, we did NVAX, ZIM, and DDD. Let's do NVAX. I got a bunch of requests for NVAX, and I'm going to have to pop off here pretty soon. So NVAX, you flipped your channel, and now you're sitting right at 266. It could go. I don't know why this is up here. It's got to be from a pre-market level, right? No, I don't know why I have this up here. So you're finally flipping that channel, okay? And I don't know if it's because they're a different technology. Are they not mRNA? I thought Johnson & Johnson was as well, and maybe that's why you're seeing it move. I'm not really sure what the issue is. I did it on pretty poor volume, but let's see if that can flip and hold. This could go. I mean, this is a big deal, right? We've been waiting for this. And if you get rid of all my lines, let's get rid of all my annotations, and you just start you're seeing this open up, right? So we're seeing the 50, the 200, the 50, the 8, right? 21, 8. We're seeing them run up. So that's what you're looking for. I mean, that's really what you want to see. So I like it. SE Steven, you're going to have to figure it out. Like for me, I'm looking on the long side. ZIM. ZIM looks great to me. I mean, you have that little fake out yesterday again, but the day before, 2 days ago, and now here you go again. I mean, it looks great. It really does. ZIM actually is starting to feel like one of those stocks you should just have an underweighted position in and just not sell, right? And just give it way more room than you give anything else. You can do that with your position sizing, right? So you just change the position size to like half, and then you can give it twice the room for the same, 1%, whatever your risk tolerance is. Look, DDD's got issues. I just avoid it. Okay. The biggest issue that you're going to have here is the same issue that I'm concerned about with this position that seems to not really care what the IWM's doing. But just to go through this, this could not look nastier. I mean, we're back to avoiding small caps, as I said yesterday, right? You got right to this level. I really thought we were going to break through. I was wrong. We did not. We rolled, and now we're sitting here at the 21 and the 50. So that's why you always have to reevaluate. But like DDD, I'd avoid any of these names. FUBU, JMI, I get asked about. Just avoid them. Just don't play with small cap names right now. So, you're welcome, Stephen. Good luck today. Let me know how it goes. Well, that's really interesting, Brandon, that they did it with Japan, because I was reading a study last night that Japan apparently has the most conservative, like the FDA. So that's actually really very interesting that they did that, because they shunned mRNA and they sent like 1 million vials back. So that's, there's, I'm not going to get into all of it, but, Tokyo has done some very interesting things in regards to this recently. You might want to read up on it. That's a big deal. I'm glad you said that. I was not aware of that. So, yeah, I do, Cobra. I do. So, I do the night videos now for the private community. It got too much. I want to start doing more educational videos, and I'm trying to do, I think it's also better for me to do these live and do it for an hour, and then people can come and go. But you're not the only one that said that, Nicholas. All right. I am out of here. If you need anything, just give me a call and we'll go from there. Hey, yo, Chris, I'll do Square real quick. I think I just did it. Yeah, you got to watch this. See this line? You're breaking that rising wedge, breaking the 50, right? You can get to 189. I mean, I know you think you can't, but you can. So just keep that in mind. And this little volume spike could just be the beginning. All right, everybody, I am out of here. Cobra, just email me. I usually do it on a case-by-case basis. I'm trying to keep the group small, frankly. But you can email me, or I will put a link in the description of this video. Just click on that and we'll go from there. All right? And that's it. Hey, Nad. All right, you got me. I'll do one more real quick, Nad. So, no, avoid. You got to hold this. You got to hold this level. You need to avoid that. All right, I'm out of here, everyone.